Welcome to the pre-match show presented by the Brian Burt's Home Selling Team. Score the best deal on a home with the Brian Burt's Home Selling Team. Visit brianburts.com or call 915-751-1500.
Cloudy skies above, clear objectives below. Tonight, a fight to stay relevant in the battle for Copa Tejas. It's El Paso Locomotive FC versus Rio Grande Valley Toros. Welcome inside the broadcast booth. I'm Duke Keith. Last Wednesday, Locomotive FC lost a very emotional and fraught game against San Antonio FC. It was cards flying, a little scuffle at the end of this one. That was after the 90 minutes was up. As for Locomotive, the question has emerged over these last few matches. What will it take to get Locomotive FC back on track? For head coach Brian Clairhout, it's about taking a breath. It's about getting players healthy. It's about resting mentally and getting ready to go into what's next. As we take a look back, though, at Wednesday, Locomotive did have its opportunities in this one. Scoring a penalty in the first half, Eric Calvillo, with some great footwork, gets taken down to the box. That sets up the penalty. Clairhout told his postgame he was taken aback that Calvillo took the penalty, but they let the guy who's feeling confident take it. And that was definitely confidence. Converts for his first goal of the season, and that was for his newborn son, Enzo. 1-0 El Paso, but the second half, 58th minute, San Antonio's Rita Zuhir from distance, right over the outstretched hands of Benny Diaz, out of nothing, tie game, but a couple of minutes later, almost from the exact same spot, Zuhir again gets another. Despite that, it was not a bad game for El Paso. The defense played well. The attack did generate some good looks. How about Nick Hines? Coming up here, has a shot on goal from outside the 18 in the 51st minute. Lots of space, puts it off the crossbar. Set piece opportunity for Miles Lyons in the 77th. Really couldn't come around. And again, Miles in the 88th minute on a nice knockback header. Just not able to put anything behind it. And Jordan Farr, great save, just able to get a fingertip on Petar Petrovic's shot. Some fancy footwork from the Swede. And you saw that was headed on the inside of that far post. Clairhout talked about how some of these moments in games aren't going their way like they did earlier in the year. Scoring more goals will definitely be the focus for Locomotive, and they have to get their star forward going. Lucho with 8 goals in the season, among the league leaders in goals scored, but he hasn't scored since June 14th versus Las Vegas. That is a full month without a goal. And while El Paso's had other players contribute, the pressure Lucho can put in a back line, key to creating looks for his teammates. The good news is tonight's opponent is someone Lucho has had success against. Scored 2 against RGV in San Antonio in 2020, and 3 with El Paso, including this goal that we're about to show you. Fastest in Locomotive history at 18 seconds. Lucho's first ever goal with Locomotive. And El Paso can sure use a good performance from Lucho tonight. RGV coming into this one unbeaten in their last 6 with 3 wins and 3 draws. Last match against Orange County rescheduled to Sunday due to some travel logistics, but all RGV in the second half after a scoreless first. Off the corner kick, 69th minute, Wahab Akwe out-jumping everyone, able to get his head on this to redirect for a ball for the goal. And more RGV. Give him some space, he'll make something happen. Jonathan Ricketts from the 18 hits it with pace. The goalkeeper gets a piece, but not enough. 2-0 RGV, and that's how this one would end. So tonight, El Paso looks to get back to winning ways while RGV wants to keep its momentum going. That's the angle as 2 corners of Texas go head-to-head. It's Locomotive FC versus RGV Toros FC in another Copa Tejas showdown next.
Southwest Chiropractic, serving El Paso area and relieving pain for more than 20 years. Not only do we treat auto, sports, and work-related injuries, but we also treat scoliosis, sciatica, back pain, disc injuries, chronic pain treatment, and we even manage stress. At Southwest Chiropractic, our patients are seen the same day. We provide gentle and effective care, and we accept most insurances. Schedule your appointment today and let us relieve your pain. With 3 convenient locations in El Paso, Southwest Chiropractic. Your health is our well-being. Call us today, 915-581-9619.
Leg Legacy Fighting Alliance brings the first ever MMA event to Southwest University Park on Friday, August 4th. Sabina Mazo headlines the night. Don't miss out on any of the thrilling action. Tickets are on sale now at southwestuniversitypark.com and the Durango Street box office. Doors open at 6 p.m. on fight night with the first bout at 7 p.m. and the main card at 9 p.m. Special thanks to our sponsors Speaking Rock, Bud Light, Cesar Ornelas, Subaru El Paso, and Barrio Eats and Drinks. We'll see you at Southwest University Park on August 4th.
Welcome to Southwest University Park. Duke Keith with you on a Saturday evening, chock full of possibilities for this Locomotive team. But they've got to reach out and make it happen. Duke Keith with you as it is Copa Tejas action, Locomotive FC versus RGV Toros FC. Let's check out the starting lineups first for the homestanding Locomotive. As notable, Chaperrera into the starting lineup. He'll kind of slip into that double pivot as Eric Calvillo pushed further forward. Lucho Solignac joined up top by Emma Sanupe, and Petar Petrovic gets the nod out on that left wing to start his first start in a while. His last start, he scored a goal. RGV Toros, coached by Wilmer Cabrera. That's right, Cristiano Francois. You'll see him out on the wing tonight, the former Locomotive man. The Cheetah is part of this RGV team, but also look for Wilmer Cabrera, the player and the son of the head coach, out on that left side wearing number 13. The Colombiano back with RGV after a stint at Butler University. We are ready to go this evening. Our referee Abdul Njaye, Bennett Savage, Matthew Schwartz are the assistant referees, and the fourth official is Christian Campo Hernandez. As we said at the top of the broadcast, overcast skies, but clear objectives for these teams here tonight in this Copa Tejas battle. Underway from El Paso, Texas. RGV, hard to miss in those kits. The highlighter orange. Locomotive in the baby blue kits. Sanupe, well dealt with. In the back by Eric Pimentel. Liam Rose back to Benny Diaz. Well, a long rolling kick. Miles Lyons is going to let that one run. Locomotive able to get a touch, and the speed of Emma Sanupe immediately challenging Pimentel on that back line. Sanupe rolls one in, and a quick corner kick conceded as Wahab Akwe, making sure that that is nowhere near Tyler Derrick in goal. Lucho Solignac's first goal for Locomotive, that one scored 18 seconds in, was against RGV, and the man he scored it against is in net again tonight. Tyler Derrick, the former Houston Dynamo keeper. It'll be Eric Calvillo to take this corner, and it's short to Petrovic. Calvillo in quickly, Lyons trying to get there, but well dealt with and pushed out by Christian Pinzon. Eighth notch in full voice on a warm evening here in Locomotive territory. El Paso, Texas has seen a month of century-plus heat, and it is pretty stifling, though the skies have been overcast coming into tonight. Lucho almost got there. Derrick gives it a ride. Pimentel, thumbs up for his keeper. Up over the top. Pimentel's been active so far tonight. This one will be settled by Frank Nudarse. Lifted up by Akwe. Locomotive, good pressure. Let's take a look at our Casa Ford keys to the game. Now, we know Lucho's going to work hard and find ways to get the ball. Wasn't easy to get San Antonio, but this lineup with speed and creativity from guys like Petrovic and Calvillo will create more space in the attacking third. That's the objective. Locomotive needs to do that consistently tonight. Converting chances. Locomotive has not had an open play goal since June 17th versus Tampa Bay. Short week, but Claire Hout told us they need to go into detail as to why those chances are not being converted. The quality definitely there. Now it's about making it happen. As RGV switches the point of attack. And finally, height on both sides, so that'll be something to look for on set pieces. As you see, RGV will cross the ball in. Set pieces very key. They have a good movement in the box, can cause confusion on who's marking whom. Stay disciplined, stay on your man. That's going to help keep the ball out of the back of the net for this RGV, or against this RGV Toros team for Locomotive. I will say the 2 goals conceded to San Antonio, almost out of nothing. Just a couple of opportunistic moments by the defending champions. They took full advantage to go from a 1-0 deficit to a 2-1 win. But all is not lost for Copa Tejas. San Antonio clearly in the lead, but things can change. Another game versus RGV coming up for the champs. Locomotive does have that tie on June the 10th to fall back on as well. But they need the 3 points here tonight if they want to stay relevant, as does RGV for that matter. To that point, later on in the second half, we'll be happy to be speaking with Danielle Goransky and Steve Arders, co-founders of Copa Tejas. That'll be coming up. Something to look forward to and pertinent for both teams as we see Brian Clairhout directing traffic, and there they are. Steve and Danielle firmly ensconced in section 105 and up and cheering with the gang. Flag is up, it's offside. It's actually out of play. Locomotive throw coming up. It's a good keep by Lucho on the throw-in. Had to do it against the run of play. Played into space nicely by Calvillo. And challenging for it is Miles Lyons, earns the throw as he gets that one to deflect off Nodarse. Notable for Locomotive, Dennis Kostishin starting on the bench tonight. That's over the top. Nice give and go. Calvillo from Sanupe trying to lay one off. Right at the spot was Lucho. Well defended again. Looks like Nodarse got a piece of that, but Locomotive still on the attack. Good pressure. Here's Petrovic. Knocks it back, draws a crowd, and it'll be another Locomotive throw. Sanupe is going to be key tonight, and a player who really needs to be engaged for Locomotive FC. I would say so far so good. He's had a couple of good touches. Knocked back in. This will be a header. Stopped by Derek, but it is a shot on goal from Calvillo. Lucho the knockback. But so far, the added pressure and the advanced position of Eric Calvillo is some positive results for this Locomotive attack. They definitely look to be the more on the front foot than Cabrera's RGV Toros. That said, Locomotive has been, it's been more than 2 seasons since Locomotive has defeated this RGV team. One of the peskiest around, and there is Francois. Cristiano Francois knocks it back. Nobody in orange, but that's a turnover by Chapa. Well dealt with and controlled. It's actually Lyons. There's Chapa in pursuit. Knocked back across to the far post. Trying to settle Cabrera. Does well just to get that down. Making some moves in the box, Pinzon. Cabrera. Stopped firmly by Rhodes. Petrovic commits the foul. It'll be a direct kick coming for RGV. Jonathan Ricketts taken down. Good work by RGV, finding a way forward after Locomotive had carried the run of play for much of our opening 8 minutes. There's Wilmer Cabrera, former Houston Dynamo coach, won the Open Cup with Dynamo one season, and then the next won the Canadian Championship as head coach of CF Montreal in Major League Soccer. Only coach to have done that. Firm knock into the box, but well dealt with by Eric McHugh. Derek to Pimentel. Darcy, good pressure by Locomotive, but it is a foul. It's committed by Rose. Looks like a hamstring situation. Bit of a coming together as Pinson taken down and left clutching the outer reaches. It's a good look at section 105. Always ready to go. Always standing. It's over the top. The cue again. That young man has really stepped forward for this Locomotive team. In the absence of their talisman and leader and team captain Yuma, still working to recover from an injury. He's not done for the season, but he is done for a while. Turnover, Francois turns and lofts this one over the back line. It did take a deflection, so a corner kick coming for RGV. The Cheetah. In that highlighter orange for RGV tonight. Looks only slightly odd as we see him. Chapa, old friends from the training ground. Knocked to the far post. Looks like Diaz gets a piece. Petrovic will settle. Diaz will knock it out. Lucho goal against RGV, his first as a Locomotive player, the first of what is now a team best. May 22nd, 2021, fastest goal in club history in 18 seconds. And 18 seconds remains one of the fastest in USL Championship history. Francois gets whistled for the foul. Looks like Liam Rose a little the worse for wear. Bence Pavkovic, the silent assassin as Brian Clairhaut calls him. Quiet man on and off the pitch, but an absolute leader. He prefers to be called Pavkovic, his surname. As he put it, good, strong family name. We'll take that as meaning something in Hungarian that might be lost a bit in translation. Well, the narrow pitch proves troublesome for RGV. Locomotive with a throw, Miles Lyons. Lucho trying to work something with Chapa, but dealt with well by Pinson. Shirt pull. Free kick coming for RGV. As we say, a team that always seems to just give Locomotive fits. Good switch. Wide open for that, Rittendale. Rittendale to the far post. Nobody in orange, but it will settle. Step in by Cabrera, that's knocked back. RGV appealing for a handball. It'll be a throw. So RGV on the front foot as of late. Pinson. One too many touches for Coronado. Robert Coronado. Chapa settling things. Be interesting to see is Chapa and Liam Rose starting in that double pivot. Calvillo in an advanced role tonight. How well things work in the opening 7 minutes or so look pretty good. Locomotive trying to regain some momentum here. Lavkovic. Lucho. Nowhere to go. With Frank Nodarce on his hip. Francois tries to step loose. It's interesting to me that Francois playing pretty centrally. Used to being on the wing with the Miami FC here at in El Paso with Locomotive. But very much the target man up top for RGV, and why not? Already has a couple of goals for Toros FC. And here's Petrovic. Benitez. Cabrera. Davila. Into space for Francois, who will get there. To the byline, trying to step by Petrovic. Cabrera weaving his way in. Liam Rose trying to stay in front. It'll bounce out to the left wing. Turned back in. Pinson trying to settle. Backs it out to Rittendale. And around the horn. Akwe. Francois to Davila. Locomotive staying compact. RGV finds a way in. Pinson, hard angle. Stinging shot, but Diaz, right position. Pinson pulling a Petrovic. Loves coming into those hard angles. This one a little more straight in terms of his angle of approach. Still not a lot of room to push that one through. Benny Diaz making sure it doesn't go any further than it did. Lucho trying the one touch to Sinupe. Combined well, but Akwe blows it up. Back comes RGV. Cabrera tries the step over. Good slide in by Borelli, who does get a piece. Davila. Rittendale can't hang on. Clouds getting a little more ominous to the north of us. But for all of the promises of rain, nothing has really cut loose the last couple of days. We're hearing there will be a pair of hydration breaks as we take a look at the skies north of Southwest University Park. We're in downtown El Paso. I've seen some flashes. Keep you abreast of what happens tonight. Petrovic taken down. There's a man who can bring the lightning. The Swede. Malmo Sweden, of course, of Serbian ancestry. Worked his way, I believe, into his nation's youth teams. But a regular in Sweden. much to the chagrin of Brian Clairhout, who had to face him a number of times in his head coaching stints up and down the Swedish divisional ladder. So much so that he decided, you know what? See if Betar wants to make a new chapter in the United States, which he did. Locomotive certainly thankful for it, and thankful to have him back in the lineup after an extended absence. Went home to his native Sweden to be tended to. Of course, stayed in shape. McHugh, nice ball over the top. Lucho, step over to the byline. It'll float all the way, but out over the back end, and it will be a goal kick. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2023, whether your club is on the road or at home. Nearly every second of every USL Championship match on ESPN Plus, the home to USL, La Liga, Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com. Speaking of ESPN, on ESPN2, the sprint to the finish. Philip Goodrum and FC Tulsa headed west to face Romario Williams in Colorado Springs Switchbacks. FC Tulsa Switchbacks FC, August 9th, 7 p.m. on ESPN2, and yes, that is 7 p.m. Mountain Time. It is a warm evening here in El Paso. Little undercut there. Christian Pinzon whistled for the foul. Avkovic slow to get up. Cristiano Francois getting a word from our referee tonight, Abdou Ndiaye. Not that things can change, but certainly a lot calmer than it was Wednesday evening between Locomotive and San Antonio FC. Physical, testy throughout the match, and of course, things boiling over at the end. Locomotive still one of 2 USL Championship teams to not receive a red card this season. Long may that stat wave. Lucho. That's a good touch by Calvillo to keep control. Back to McHugh. Slow roll forward, Calvillo. That's well done, Nodarse. Can't hang on to it. They'll whistle a foul. A foul is the signal from the assistant referee. And Ndiaye signals his assent as we see Brian Clairhout. Wednesday night, Brian was, and that's going to be a caution on Eric Calvillo. Well, there was a pull, but the first caution of the night goes to Calvillo in the 22nd minute. Something, frankly, we did not spot. But a foul, and the assistant referee did spot it. Abdou Ndiaye perhaps did as well. Let's see if we can get a hold of this. Nodarse, it was an extra shirt pull. That's well done by our camera crew to spot exactly what happened. A little extra left in. A little better when you can slow things down and see exactly what transpired, but Nodarse thrown off and had a clear path up the left wing side, so Eric Calvillo gets the caution. Nodarse with the ball here. All the way over to Akwe. The Ghanaian. 84 clearances, 43 interceptions, 24 tackles. Not too bad a passer either, just over 78% last year. And Francois not going to be able to run that down. Again, they keep trying to work. The field is very wide at Rio Grande Valley. So in the friendly confines, and we do mean confines, of Southwest University Park, anything played wide up the wing becomes a little more problematic for teams used to a wider pitch. First touch for Sinupe in a while, having to come back to be involved in this. It's going to travel all the way out. Borelli tries to get a touch to it, and apparently he did, or nobody did. It'll be out for an RGV throw. Calvillo remonstrating with the assistant referee, draws the ire. Mr. Ndaye, team captain, former team captain with Locomotive's sister club in Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, FC Juarez Bravos. Started off the Apertura in fine fashion with a victory over Club America a couple of weeks ago. Rittendale, nice moves to get that in. Played back now for Davila. Taylor Davila trying to find Francois. Know who the danger man is. Locomotive had a couple in front of him. Cleared out. But all the way up the wing, it'll be a throw for RGV. Into the 25th minute here in El Paso, Texas. Copa Tejas rivalry between these two teams. And Locomotive looking for its first win over RGV since 2021. Borelli comes to Sinupe, trying to control and does the Englishman. Sinupe cuts it back, steps through the pressure. Sinupe still gets taken down. All ball, says Ndaye. Play on. Pinson. Emma Sinupe trying to take the RGV backline to school. In the end, the class size was too big. With the Englishman, one of the few opportunities he's really had to go at it tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it was the 6th who got it. It's a great step in by Nodarse. Sinupe again, Calvillo. Locomotive forward, Petrovic. Lucho, Petrovic with a central run. Lucho squares up and fires. It is well wide. Nice thought by the Argentine. Certainly some venom behind it. A little too much to ask. That'll be a foul by Borelli. Too quick on the restart, too far ahead. Robert Coronado told to pull it back a bit. Benitez. Nodarse. Rittendale, Pinson fighting for it. Locomotive wins that battle. Calvillo Chapa. Liam Rose involved. On the pass behind, Lucho trying to find Chapa. Nice slide to get it loose of Francois, and it nicked off of Francois' foot on the way out. Well done by the El Pasoan. Former Bel Air Highlander, very proud when his school won the high school state championship. Young man never thought he'd be playing professional soccer, but has been a staple of this Locomotive lineup for 5 seasons now. All 5. Pavkovic stepping in. Lofts one over the top. Akwe bounces to Sinupe, but he did a little pushing. Didn't seem like much. Good enough on Pimentel to force the restart. Cabrera. Thought that was for Pinson. Cabrera sending it over. Davila, a little bit of a mix-up, and Locomotive back with it, trying to counter. Lucho denied by Akwe. Whistle for the foul. That was just a miscommunication. Avila thought that ball was for Pinson. Locomotive ready to pick up the loose change. McHugh knocks one long to Petrovic. Too far even for the speedy Swede. Great to see him back in the starting lineup though, Petar Petrovic. Dealing with some leg issues. Of course, there are a number of Locomotive players who've dealt with extended injury situations, which is, people asked, who do you think one of the key players is before the season started? And my answer really isn't a who, it's a what. Health. Locomotive has remained relatively healthy, trying to restore some health to their record this evening. A hydration break is upcoming. Our understanding that there's Cabrera. Both teams agreed to this before the match because of the high temperatures. And the wind has picked up. Things are cooling off a little bit, but still, it's warm.
One side.
Not necessarily as end-to-end as it was versus San Antonio, but pretty good pace throughout. There's Petrovic. Chapa on the ball now. And Chapa taken down from behind, wins the foul from Pinson. So a free kick coming. I think we'll take this last action and perhaps break, as the winds are definitely picking up out of the north, as witnessed by my shuffling papers here in the press box. Good 40 yards off the byline. Lofted over. They're trying to chip Tyler Derrick. Nice thought by Petrovic, but the veteran. And that one well sniffed out. Tyler Derrick, lots of success in Houston with the Dynamo, and has been, for the past 3 seasons, a part of his former head coach in Major League Soccer and his organizational efforts here with RGV. It's a long ball over the top. We'll roll out for a Locomotive throw. And here is the hydration break coming in the 32nd minute. Well, while we have an opportunity to talk about it, let's talk some of the stalwarts of this Locomotive team. As there we see Wilmer Cabrera trying to organize the efforts. His team's always so difficult to play against. And there is Bence Pavkovic. Locomotive exercising its contract option on Pavkovic, keeping him under contract through next season. He's played every minute of the USL regular season. 1,530 coming into tonight. Team leader in defensive clearances with 45, successful passes with 734. The silent assassin makes his presence known with what he does on the pitch. Bence Pavkovic. Miles Lyons, Locomotive exercising its contract option on the young man from the Barca Residency Academy. Just 20 years old, but he has been a vital cog to this Locomotive success this season. Keeps him under contract through 2024. Played in every regular season match in 2023 as well. Obviously not every minute, but he's been in every match. And Liam Rose, the Australian, every match this season, including the Open Cup, he's been involved. Great to have Liam back in El Paso for 2023. There's a guy, his countrywoman, our sideline reporter, Rachel Phillips, points out, was working in a factory in Australia and decided, you know what, I have the opportunity to go play professional football. And he took it. Former roommate and teammate of former head coach John Hutchinson. Our understanding is that Liam Rose has remained very tight-lipped about his time with his former roomie and former head coach. You never know. You never know when you're going to need somebody to vouch for you. It was a nice thought trying to find him a Sanupe as we resume play. Here in the 34th minute, still trying to find the breakthrough. At least a couple of added minutes. And more, you have to think. Cabrera. That's a nice dummy ball to the son of the head coach. But stepping into that, well done. McHugh. Of course, Wilmer Cabrera Jr., or Wilmer Andres Cabrera. Over 20 goals with the Butler Bulldogs. He's got 5 to lead the team this season for RGV, so nepotism if you must, but it's been very positive for RGV, certainly. He's a young man who played, I think, before he went off to college within the RGV Academy. Cabrera, the very first coach in RGV history back in 2015. Coming back to the club he helped start in 2019, or 2020, I should say. Right after COVID, and he's been here since. Or during. Pimentel. Temperatures have noticeably cooled here in downtown El Paso. Acque to Francois. That's played forward on a run for it. Is Cabrera. He's going to get there, but can't get the cross in. It'll bounce out for a corner, well dealt with by McHugh. Davila will take it. Taylor Davila out of Sherman Oaks, California. Came to RGV from Los Dos, Galaxy 2. Davila is knocked back by Pavkovic. It'll go out, it'll be an RGV throw, but Pavkovic meeting it firmly. The wind kind of whipping in from the northeast, it appears. Don't know if that play had any effect in the ball in, but it is starting to gust a bit here in El Paso. Both teams doing well enough defensively as they try to get that one to Francois. It will be another corner kick. Locomotive saying that deflected off the Haitian. And it will be a goal kick. I think corner was the initial call, but Mr. Njaye overrules himself. With some help maybe from his AR. Over the top. Lucho's not going to get there. Locomotive not afraid to play those balls out of the back. Lucho showing his wheels, but I don't think Cristiano Francois could have run under that ball. I'm sure Locomotive wouldn't really want to try and find out the answer to that question. Going the other way here. Cabrera. Up top, looking for Pinzon. Well dealt with by Chapa, not once but twice. Gets that one off of Davila as well. Luis Chapa Herrera. He's had some positive play, I'm saying, tonight. Has done very well as the second part of that double pivot with Liam Rose. Defensive midfielder. Might be in the process of earning himself some more minutes. We'll see. Here's Davila, rather sent in left wing. And knocked down and loose and in. Out of nothing, The long ball out of the back finds Cabrera, and he's able to spill that one in for the goal in the 38th minute. Cabrera, 6th of the season. It looked like such a hopeful ball from Thomas Rittendale. But in it goes to the far post, and Cabrera giving RGV the lead. RGV, it should be pointed out, 5-0-3 when they score first. First goals so important for every squad, and now playing with the lead here in half number 1. Sixth of the season. And his dad and head coach has to be thrilled. So Locomotive with work to do. Here comes McHugh. Loft into the far post. Too tall for Lucho. He's looking for a little shirt pull from the referee. Locomotive playing from behind against a team they have not beaten in 2 seasons. And here is Francois, the cheetah. Cristiano Francois. Well corralled. Pinson now back. Good Arce. It's a good effort by Sinupe. And the takedown in midfield. Pinson on Chaperera. Further word by Abdou Ndiaye for Cabrera, who's going to receive a yellow card. Let's take a look at this goal again from the man who just received a caution here in minute 41. Just to knock back across, and Benny Diaz's momentum carries him away. That is an excellent look from the goal can. How was that goal scored? Diaz just trying to cover his angles. Cabrera, the seeing eye ball to the far post. That is just an excellent strike. Out of really what was a hopeful ball from Tomas Rittendale. Francois whistled for the foul here as he takes down McHugh. Let's see this angle. Here's Rittendale. The long cross. First time to knock that back across your body. Just to scuff it, and really he had to scuff it to get any kind of angle on goal. That is an exceptionally good strike. Here's Locomotive, set piece opportunity. Fake step. Calvillo goes up top. Looks like something out of the training ground. Well done by Lions to keep hold of that against the defensive pressure, and it will be a corner kick. Keeps it past Pinson, forces the action from Rittendale. Locomotive earns a corner out of it. Here in the 43rd minute, Locomotive looking for the equalizer in front of 8th notch. It'll be Petrovic to deliver. The far post settled in and knocked out. Francois will gather. It was Davila who meets it with a header, and the foul is Francois taken down. Chaparrera knows a break when he sees one and knows his old teammate. Former Dynamo man on the restart. That one against the wind just kind of settles in. Took everybody by surprise. Pinzon trying to spin and settle. That was not going to be good. Never going to end well. Petrovic taken down. It'll be a free kick. Somebody's been watching some game tape. That's Cabrera, who has to be careful on the yellow card. Petrovic had any more control of that, it might have been a real issue for the young goal scorer. Petrovic here on the restart as we are into the 45th minute now. Far posts. And it is wide of the net. Tyler Derrick just making sure he had his angles covered. Almost reached out and touched it. We're hearing stoppage time is going to be 3 minutes tonight here in this first half of play. Cabrera trying to get a hold. Liam Rose will gather it up. Still in regulation. Calvillo. Locomotive trying to find some breakthroughs, some answers tonight. Nicely lofted cross by Ritandole. Gathered by Cabrera, knocked back first time for the opener. And there's the official signal. 3 minutes of stoppage time here in our first half. On the throw-in, Lucho. Earns another for Locomotive. Lucho ahead of that back line, of course. Doing the rules, it'll be Borelli. Locomotive, as we've pointed out, lots of success from losing positions. This will be knocked back across, trying to get there as Lions, but a little bit taller. Ritandole able to deal with that. Play on. Chapa is actually going to knock that back in. Ritandole thought he was off to the races. Chapa gives him a little word as from his side is able to push that one forward. Talking things over with Davila now. Not lacking in confidence, Chaparrera. McHugh gets a touch. Petrovic. Pavkovic. A couple of minutes of stoppage time remaining. Can Locomotive work it up the pitch for an attack? Well, not with a turnover here. Coronado. Out up top, and a one-time, well, off to the left foot and wide. Well wide by Cabrera. Got it up for the half volley with his left. Locomotive had him well marked. And it'll be a goal kick. McHugh. Intercepted by Nodarse. It's a foul. Nodarse taken down. Emasanupe, who's been left by his lonesome, had that nice carry when he did get the opportunity to carry the ball in and attack. Did so, but that's been about the last time he's actually seen the ball. And that is problematic for Locomotive FC. They do want him to be on the front foot. Speaking of, it'd be hard to work those double knots back in time, but apparently an extended break while Darcy puts his shoes back on, or shoe. Eighth Notch definitely has something to say about that. I think we'll have a few seconds extra, more than the called upon, or the called 3 added minutes. But Darcy a full minute just to get back up. So we play on. There's a switch. Ritandole. Slow roller, easily intercepted. Back over the top. Locomotive. Chaperera. Lions. Back to Herrera. Francois all over him. Earns Locomotive a throw. Lions back into the us. How much more will we have? Try one over the top to Lucho. Again, dealt with. Calvillo's trying to get there. A little roll out for a Locomotive throw. Alpha Ritandole. Lions. And that's going to be it. Not enough time for Locomotive to come around. We got about an added 1 minute and 15 seconds. And that's how we will go to the break. RGV Toros FC with a 1-0 lead on an amazing first touch effort by Wilmer Andres Cabrera for his 6th of the season. One time, just a scuff. And that's all he needed. Locomotive with work to do for the second half. We'll come back with stats, news, headlines, and highlights after this.
Your adventure is calling during the summer drive at Casa Ford. Gear up for the summer of a lifetime with thrill-seeking savings on a great selection of rugged trucks and SUVs. Your journey goes further when you shop at Casa Ford. Get 0% APR financing plus $1,000 customer cash on a new Ford F-150 XLT. Chart your course to Casa Ford during the summer drive going on now.
Home of the nice guys. Yeah!
Legacy Fighting Alliance brings the first ever MMA event to Southwest University Park on Friday, August 4th. Sabina Mazo headlines the night. Don't miss out on any of the thrilling action. Tickets are on sale now at southwestuniversitypark.com and the Durango Street box office. Doors open at 6 p.m. on fight night with the first bout at 7 p.m. and the main card at 9 p.m. Special thanks to our sponsors Speaking Rock, Bud Light, Cesar Ornelas, Subaru El Paso, and Barrio Eats and Drinks. We'll see you at Southwest University Park on August 4th.
Welcome back to Southwest University Park. Overcast skies, but not a lot of flashes now I've seen. I think it's kind of pushed off to the east. Rio Grande Valley, though, they've got the Lightning so far 1-0 at the break over Locomotive FC. As we take a check of the Western Conference standings, Locomotive still in third position, 31 points in the Western Conference. Sac Republic up top with 34. San Antonio FC with that win over El Paso, also tying them for points. Goal differential a little more favoring Sacramento Republic over the defending champions, but Locomotive right there in the mix. San Diego Loyal SC, 30 points in fourth place. Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC, 28 points. Monterey Bay in full playoff position, 27 points for them, rising. And New Mexico United have started rising themselves from out of playoff position to into it, tied at 25 points for the final 2 playoff spots, followed by Roots SC at 24, Rio Grande Valley. We should point out, though, in their last 6 matches, Rio Grande Valley 3 wins, 3 ties. So that's pretty impressive. 12 points in their last 6 matches, 23 points to kind of lift them out of the bottom position. Orange County, well, next to bottom. Orange County SC, 22 points, in Las Vegas Lights FC with just 1 win of the season at the bottom. As we take a look at headlines around the USL, hey, we've got a Women's World Cup bracket challenge. Do check it out, USLChampionship.com. World Cup is about to begin, the Women's World Cup. And the league has a bracket challenge where you can win a grand prize worth $1,500. Sign up at USLChampionship.com. And speaking of the Women's World Cup, Locomotive will be hosting a watch party. That's going to be here at Southwest University Park in the Big Dog House. That will be for the July 21st match with as the American women take on Vietnam. Doors open at 6 p.m. Tickets are available at eplocomotivefc.com. But yes, you can purchase your tickets online. That's coming up on the 21st. And don't forget, get out and vote. Vote and check out the winners for your USL Weekly Awards. Goal of the Week, Save of the Week, Team of the Week. It's all there at USLChampionship.com. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll look at stats, standings, and highlights when we continue right here with Locomotive FC.
Are you ready? Ready for more of the game you love? Ready for more players and more teams? Ready for more stadiums, for more fans in more cities? This is a different league. The USL Super League. Built for the future of women's soccer. Bridging the journey from youth to pro, connected to the global game, and bringing it all closer to home. Are you ready?
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Tries to leave it there for Gleedle. Sam Gleedle, it's a tap-in for Christian Valesky. And Monterey Bay are absolutely flying tonight. Bomasoso, right through the middle, Johnny Rodriguez. Rodriguez scores! Something out of nothing for the Oakland Roots.
Welcome back to Southwest University Park. Rio Grande Valley FC leading Locomotive by the score of 1-0 here in El Paso, Texas. As we take a look at an amazing, honestly, amazing strike here from Wilmer Andres Cabrera, the son of the coach, Ritandole. That's a hopeful ball. He knows Cabrera's going to be able to get something on it, but we see this from multiple angles. I'm more impressed the more I see, especially with that the goal cam shot. Here it comes. Again, Benny Diaz just trying to cover his angles. He's out there. And Cabrera just able to knock it into the far post, really against Diaz's body. And his momentum carrying him completely away. That is an amazing, amazing strike by the young man. Over 20 goals with Butler University and 6 so far this season with his dad's team. That's a look at your highlights for the first half, or at least the goal. 1-0 Rio Grande Valley. We'll be back with the second half, stats and more coming back after this.
Get your keys to adventure during the summer drive at Casa Nissan.
Map out big savings when you start your journey in a new Titan, Pathfinder, or Rogue.
Whether you're searching for the lost city or the biggest savings of the summer, your adventure begins at Casa Nissan.
Get 0% APR on a new Nissan Rogue or 0% financing for 60 months on a new Nissan Titan.
All roads lead to Casa Nissan.
How I drive in the 915.
Home of the nice guys.
Yeah.
Alliance brings the first ever MMA event to Southwest University Park on Friday, August 4th. Sabina Mazo headlines the night. Don't miss out on any of the thrilling action. Tickets are on sale now at southwestuniversitypark.com and the Durango Street box office. Doors open at 6 p.m. on fight night with the first bout at 7 p.m. and the main card at 9 p.m. Special thanks to our sponsors Speaking Rock, Bud Light, Cesar Ornelas, Subaru El Paso, and Barrio Eats and Drinks. We'll see you at Southwest University Park on August 4th.
Welcome back, everybody. Locomotive FC 0, Rio Grande FC 1 here in El Paso, Texas. So we see the crowd here on a Saturday evening in Locomotive territory looking for something positive as we head to the second half. Let's take a look at the first half highlights and stats. Match stats. There you see 1-0 RGV. That's the most important one always. Total shots 6-3, shots on target 2 for each team. Shots in the box, RGV with 5 to Locomotive's 1. And the passing accuracy, as you would expect between a couple of possession-based teams, roughly the same. Possession, Locomotive's had more of the ball, but I think one of the stats you're not seeing, and if you're looking at the live stats, 12 crosses for RGV to Locomotive's 4. They have connected on 3 of those. Locomotive has not connected on a single cross tonight. That might be very telling. Locomotive trying to get it, and of course, out of the back, they've played a lot of long balls to Lucho, to Emma Sanupe. But the stuff coming in from the wings is what Locomotive wants. They haven't really been able to get that. RGV with a lot more success in that regard. 1-0 at the break. We'll come back with the second half on the other side as you're watching Locomotive Soccer and the GECU Halftime Show.
Legacy Fighting Alliance brings the first ever MMA event to Southwest University Park on Friday, August 4th. Sabina Mazo headlines the night. Don't miss out on any of the thrilling action. Tickets are on sale now at southwestuniversitypark.com and the Durango Street box office. Doors open at 6 p.m. on fight night with the first bout at 7 p.m. and the main card at 9 p.m. Special thanks to our sponsors Speaking Rock, Bud Light, Cesar Ornelas, Subaru El Paso, and Barrio Eats and Drinks. We'll see you at Southwest University Park on August 4th.
Welcome back to Southwest University Park. It is Locomotive FC 0, Rio Grande Valley FC 1, as we see the fans here at Southwest University Park looking for something to cheer. Let's take a look at the first half highlights. There were a few. Locomotive has had some opportunities, not able to convert. Rita Ndole up top, Pinzon making some moves, gets the shot off. Benny Diaz able to stave that one away. And here's a dangerous combination. Lucho from Petrovic, and Lucho sliding across the box, or sliding across the 18 to try and push that one. It's well wide. Petrovic on the restart trying to catch Derek unawares and chip him. Didn't work out. Tyler Derrick was on it, and here is the goal. Just a beautiful knock, and if you don't think he meant to do that, I say the 6 goals to pace the team says otherwise. Wilmer Andres Cabrera. Basically just a scuff, but that's all he needed to pull that one out of the air first time. That's honestly a great goal. And RGV deservedly in front 1-0. What answers do Locomotive have here for half number 2? They'll have first touch, playing against the wind a bit here in the second half and underway. And here is Eric Calvillo. For the first 6 or 7 minutes or so, it looked like Calvillo in an advanced position was working a treat, but RGV made their adjustments. Wilmer Cabrera, very cagey coach. Of course, a man, as we pointed out, who's been a coach in Major League Soccer with both Houston and CF Montreal. Coming back to the Valley to coach the team he helped start back in 2015. And an early foul. Miles Lyons taking down Rita Ndole. There's a little friendly chant from Eighth Notch. Just 20 years old as Ritandole earned a first-team roster spot after a successful trial period in the preseason. Here's Locomotive, Sinupe. Getting a starting nod. They really want to see something from him. He really hasn't had an opportunity, though, to show much. When he's been able to touch the ball, it's been positive. Locomotive not able to find him a whole lot through the first half of play. Does have a goal this season, the Englishman. Came up through the Tottenham Academy. Here's a young man who, I think more than anything else, especially after an injury-plagued 2022, needs some confidence. How does Locomotive work him into that? They're trying for him up the right wing. Calvillo to no avail. It's a good knock by Pavkovic. Finally ruled a handball. Took a bit. Pavkovic does not agree, as you might expect. Honestly, it's been a well-played game. You see what both teams are trying to do. Locomotive has had their opportunities. RGV has obviously made the most of their biggest one. We haven't seen a lot of ridiculous mistakes or anything like that. These are two teams that know what they want to do on and off the ball. Just looking for a little more electricity from this homestanding Locomotive team. Really Copa Tejas on the line. We look forward to speaking with Daniel Goransky and Steve Arders coming up here in a few minutes. Co-founders of Copa Tejas, which of course involves all Texas teams, professional sides. Looking for the W League, Super League, to be a part of that. Super League anyway. It's a good carry by McHugh. Too wide out for Sinupe. They keep trying to find the Englishman, but nothing goes. That will actually be a foul. Whistled on Francois. And Jaye, the referee, playing advantage. But it'll be a free kick for Locomotive. A little pull on McHugh on the way up. So the free kick coming for Locomotive. Jim Rose on the restart. Lions. I think you'd like to have that one back. Wind whipping in a little bit from the northeast. That's what it seems. Here's Ricketts. Cabrera dealt with by Pavkovic. Cabrera gets a touch, but it's only back to Borelli. Chapa. Well dealt with. Locomotive with it. They're going to call a foul. It is a Locomotive restart coming up. My point in saying it, you know, in terms of how well these teams have played the game or attempted to, just hasn't been a whole lot of excitement in this one so far. Things can change. Locomotive certainly wanting to change them. Here's Sinupe having to come back to get a touch from McHugh. Pavkovic. Petrovic. Nice little side step for Chapa, trying to find Lucho up top. There's another one. Another player I think Locomotive would like to have on the ball a lot more. He's not very effective getting it up front so far. Gritandole, Pinzon, Francois. The Cheetah knocks it back into the middle, and they'll switch it out right for Ricketts. Back in for Davila. Gritandole. Knocking it around a bit. It'll be an RGV throw. Free kick coming for Locomotive. Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select/sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. Here is Borelli. Chapa does well to get that up to Petrovic. Last touched by Chapa Herrera. Locomotive wanting to give the crowd something to cheer about, but so far a pretty quiet Saturday evening. Apologies for the paper rustling. The breeze continues here this evening. Knocked wide by Pavkovic. Looking to find Lyons up the right wing. Francois does well to settle that for Pinzon. Effort falling across his body. Will earn the throw off of Rose. And a good job by McHugh to earn a Locomotive throw. Locomotive winless against RGV in its last 3 matches. Last one coming last September the 7th. 2-0 RGV win, their first ever at Southwest University Park. They'd managed draws prior to that. The last Locomotive victory was just shy of 2 years ago, August of 2021. A 3-1 win here in El Paso. Eder Borelli knocking it back. Petrovic, or rather Pavkovic, forward for Petrovic, and the offside flag is up. Looking for Lucho, actually. Bypassing Petrovic up that left wing. But the Argentine was offside. Akwe. That's settled nicely. Pinzon, Gritandole. Francois lurking out there. It's a good stop by Rose, but Locomotive fouled in the process as Rose takes a seat. Pavkovic. Here's Petrovic and played over the top. Great ball for Borelli. Has to slide down and keep that one away from Akwe. Will allow that to trickle into Tyler Derrick unmolested. Just a great lofted ball by Petrovic over the top to Ricketts. Over the top of Ricketts, I should say, and Francois Flag is up on the Cheetah. Locomotive looking for answers. And you wonder how long it's going to take for Brian Claerhout. And I am seeing the Locomotive bench. My answer has come fairly quickly after that statement. Probably going to be about in the next minute or two. And it's a triple substitution coming on. Kostishin. Ricardo Zacarias. And it looks like Chris Garcia. All waiting along the touchline. Petrovic, Rose, Sinupe. Sinupe, nice thought, trying to ping it over to Lucho. Didn't work out. And here we come with the substitutions. And it will be Ricardo Zacarias on for Champa Herrera. So Las Cruces replacing El Paso. Zacarias with 3 goals this season. Talked about the Las Cruces. Great to have him back in the lineup after an injury on the training pitch. Also in is it's Mark Navarro, as he will replace Petrovic. And Aron Gomez. So Aron Gomez will slide into Petrovic's spot on that left wing. So we have yet to see the Ukrainian Denis Kostishin, but Aron Gomez, certainly a man who can get you some athleticism up that wing, taking the place of Petrovic. Just back from injury. Figure he might be subbed off tonight, and indeed that is the case. All of these subs coming in the 58th minute. So the triple substitution as Brian Claerhout tries to inject some life into this as yet moribund El Paso attack. That intercepted Pavkovic's pass. That's played forward for the Cheetah. And he's going to get there. A little stumble. Cheetah off the right post and out. Got a step as a little bit of a stumble by Eric McHugh. Let the Haitian off to the races. But he tries one from distance and it goes wide. Cristiano Francois. Had the step but wasn't able to get it in. Borelli. Aron Gomez. Locomotive working it around. It'll come back to Rose, to Borelli. Well done by Cabrera. Petrovic. It's a good little sidestep by Borelli to spring Aron Gomez. Aron Gomez, that's a stinging ball, but Lucho not able to get there in time, and Tyler Derrick an easy gather in the end. And we've got a bit of a stoppage. I think they're checking the ball. I don't know if it got scuffed. Our referee tonight, Abdul Njai. Looks like we might have a replacement ball coming up. I think it's lost a little bit of juice. So the drop ball for Tyler Derrick, and we restart. Up top, Carrera. Gathered well by Calvillo. RGV, little misstep there by Ritandole. Well won back by Francois, Ritandole and Francois. Cristiano Francois chased by McHugh. Ritandole able to pick it up. The long switch to Ricketts. Ricketts will have a go. Skipping ball gathered by Benny Diaz. Benny Diaz getting the applause of eighth notch. But as yet, offensively, not a whole lot to smile about for Locomotive so far tonight. We are very pleased to have with us the two members, the co-founding members of Copa Tejas, Steve Arders and I'm having a look, Danielle Goransky, my apologies. I want to make sure I get your name right, Danielle.
Great job.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate that, and good to see you guys down in with the eighth notch in section 105, having some fun with the crowd. This is what you guys get to do everywhere you go?
We love it. We love seeing the culture and the supporters groups brought to life in each city.
That is wonderful, and it's great to have you, Steve. I know I got introduced to you a while back. This is the first time I got to meet Don, but this is such an advancement, I think, for soccer in our state. And you've got Copa Tejas, which applies to all levels of professional soccer throughout Texas, correct?
Yes, that's exactly right. And we're in our 5th year in USL Championship, 3rd year in MLS. So that's exactly right, Duke. It's really raising the awareness of both Division I and Division II across the state of Texas.
Well, it's great to have you guys here in El Paso. Of course, Locomotive FC, the original winners of Copa Tejas and the Copa Tejas Shield, correct?
Correct. They had a great year the first year. We brought it out here, and they did a great job, and they just owned everything that season.
A superlative season. Knocked back, and Diaz has to get that one all the way into the back line. Recycled here, Davila. Knocked out by Calvillo. Benny Diaz handling his business from the back. Cristiano Francois subbed out. Let's take a look at the shot once again. Akwe, that's who they wanted. It does get knocked back in the shot coming afterward. But Benediaz on it as Locomotive, again, playing out of the back. Here's Eder Borelli. Over the top. They're going to find Zacarias. Flag is up. Flag was firm and up quickly. Well, this is, it's really cool as, again, we're speaking with Danielle Goransky and Steve Arders, the co-founders. What made you guys want to decide to start this thing up?
It was really, we had always admired the Cascadia Cup up in the Northwest, and we just thought that this would be perfect for Texas, both in the USL Championship and MLS.
Well, I mean, you think about it, FC Dallas, formerly the Dallas Burn, they've been around since the very beginning of 1996.
And they won their Copa Tejas Championship the same year that El Paso won its. So the bit of a connection there.
Well, this is, it's great to have this, and it's great that you do all the different levels, and I know you're looking forward to bringing this to women's soccer as well, Daniel.
Absolutely. We are so excited about the Super League, and we can't wait to have more teams come in here into the Texas Super League, where we can then now start awarding it to a women's team. But it's just unique. There's no other derby or trophy that's being handed out to multiple tiers in soccer, but also men's and women's, and the Dash is part of our Shield Championship.
It's absolutely critical to have this to be a part. As we take a look at the trophy presentation, this is Copa Tejas, and eventually the Copa Tejas Shield being awarded after the match. Locomotive, the original winners of Copa Tejas in 2021. Of course, San Antonio, the defending champions, and in the lead once again for the Copa Tejas in 2023. But quite a ride for Locomotive in that 2021 season, and I know you guys had a lot of fun being here.
That's exactly right. And Copa Tejas is about making history. So this year, Duke, it's either going to be the first back-to-back winner in San Antonio, the first two-time winner possibly in El Paso, or the first-time winner in RGV. So somebody's going to make history this season.
Well, RGV looking in good shape so far here tonight in El Paso. And I know this is the fun part has got to be sitting with the fans. I mean, you guys look like you had a ball.
We absolutely do, and we get to do that in every market. And that's one of the things. The SGs in these markets, whether it's MLS or USL Championship, give it their all for 90 minutes in this heat, and everybody should really appreciate that.
Well, credit to you for dealing with the heat as well. I know it's where are you guys from in Texas?
San Antonio.
Both of you.
San Antonio, yep. So we met at an SAFC match, and Copa Tejas has been history ever since.
That is outstanding. Well, I know you guys know a thing or two about heat in San Antonio, too.
We do indeed.
Little different than El Paso, but it's still heat.
It's a beautiful night for soccer tonight.
Yeah, it is. And this is really cool. And I know that especially as the game continues to advance, and we hear the USL storyline, the news breaking in The Athletic, that the USL is considering promotion relegation through 3 different divisions. We see Lionel Messi coming to Major League Soccer. There's so much about this game that's really moving forward, isn't there?
There's so much that's advancing just in terms of the players, the game, the strategy. But we've just seen over the 5 years, even the teams and the supporters groups are continuing to advance and progress, and it's just great to see.
And that includes women's soccer, too. I mean, we talk about the Super League, but the NWSL has already been a part of it with the Houston Dash, and I don't know where they are in the Shield standings. They can't play anybody else, but obviously I guess it's just their win-loss record.
It is win-loss, and they have been competitive with all of the MLS teams in terms of their record. USLW, that started since we've been in conception, so it's great to see USL advancing women's soccer as well.
It is going to be wonderful to have the Super League to be a part of all of this, and Texas professional soccer. And it's interesting. We talked about the Dallas Burn back in 1996. Of course, Houston Dynamo winning a couple of championships in their first 2 seasons in Houston, back at the old Robertson Stadium. This state has its history with the game, and of course back in the NASL days before.
Absolutely, and hopefully with Copa Tejas, we just continue to add to that history 5, 10, 15 years down the road.
Absolutely. It is wonderful to be speaking once again with Danielle Goronsky and Steve Arters, co-founders of Copa Tejas, joining us here in El Paso this week. Where are you guys off to next?
We may be in RGV in a week or 2.
All right, because Locomotive plays down there in the Valley.
That's exactly right. And then we're back up in Dallas. Austin FC is in Dallas.
And you guys, you're telling me you have full-time jobs?
Yes. Sometimes those full-time jobs get in the way of Copa Tejas.
This I understand completely.
Not sometimes, all the time.
But it's been great seeing RGV come out and play well. This is their first match in Copa Tejas and coming in strong.
Calvillo, that's a yellow coming up. Looks like Gabriel Benitez is going to pick up that one. Hasn't been on the pitch for too long as we enter the 71st minute. Locomotive trying to make some things happen, and it will be Lucho coming off for Chris Garcia. That's an interesting substitution for Locomotive FC here in the 71st minute, but Lucho has certainly run the race tonight, and I think that they want some fresh legs. Chris Garcia. Garcia on, the former RSL man, coming back to his hometown on loan before signing a deal to be a part of Locomotive FC full-time. That's the other part of it, I think, that's really cool. You see a lot of hometown kids here for El Paso right over the top, trying to get that to Garcia, who's from El Paso. Of course, earlier, Luis Chaparrera from El Paso, and there are plenty of guys, I think, from this area. Aaron Gomez, I believe, was born in El Paso, called FC Juarez home and Juarez, Mexico for a while. So lots of area soccer, and it's wonderful that these professional sides exist to give opportunities to youngsters at every level.
There's no doubt about that, and that wasn't the case 5-10 years ago. So it's terrific to see.
Absolutely. What are some of the things that you guys are looking forward to most of all as the game advances at all the different leagues? What are you looking forward to seeing and having Copa Tejas be a part of?
One of the things we really want to see is the growth of the supporters communities in all of the MLS cities and certainly all in the USL Championship cities. And one of the neat things that has happened.
That's knocked forward, and that is knocked in. An easy gather for Derek in the end. As Mark Navarro still hobbled a little bit. They got that centrally, which is where they wanted to deliver the ball. The big Spaniard right there to receive it, but he's still shaking off the effects.
So we've seen those communities really network more and more, and it's the growth, Duke, of what that's going to be in the future.
Well, you're kind of the tie that binds everyone together, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, and we would love to see some sort of unified Texas TIFO or supporters thing for the World Cup when it comes here in 2026 and bring everyone together.
That would be tremendous, just to have a big supporters group, everybody wearing the red, white, and blue, right?
And it'll almost be like a Copa Tejas network from one side of the state to the next.
Well, and that's the thing about it is we're starting to connect all the dots for professional soccer. El Paso in the left corner, you've got RGB down south, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, and everywhere in between. Austin now a part of this as well. It's wonderful to see. Oh, great run here by Garcia. Garcia trying to play it forward for Aaron Gomez. Tyler Derrick makes sure it advances no further. Well, that's actually wonderful in the World Cup. Really great opportunity, I think, for you guys to pull this off.
No question. I mean, rising tide lifts all boats, and there's no tide that's going to be better than World Cup coming.
Well, I know that is what's wonderful to hear is that it's mainly about the supporters groups, which I imagine. Did you guys start with the Crocketeers? Is that where you kind of met?
We did. In fact, I was one of the founding members of the Crocketeers in San Antonio. So
very nice.
It's long history in doing this. Yes,
now,
sir.
The old NASL days, right?
Old NASL days with the San Antonio Scorpions.
Yes.
That's exactly right.
That is tremendous. Well, it's good. I mean, I know you guys obviously have your loyalties to the Alamo City, but it's wonderful that you are about the Lone Star State, about professional soccer throughout throughout Texas.
Absolutely, and tonight I think we bleed a nice light blue for El Paso. We love coming to El Paso. Everyone's just so welcoming and such a great supporters culture.
Well, it has been a pleasure, absolutely, to speak to Danielle and to Mr. Steve Arders with the Copa Tejas, the co-founders of Copa Tejas. We look forward to seeing them back in El Paso sometime and maybe, hopefully, a little trophy lift. That'd be nice to see at the end of the season.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Danielle, pleasure to meet you. And Steve, good to see you again. Thank you very much to both of these fine folks and for joining us here today. Great to speak to Danielle Goronsky and Steve Arders here with us tonight in this Copa Tejas match. Locomotive FC. You think Yuma's a talisman? Lucho Solig not coming off the pitch. Just seems like kind of a big moment, and I don't know exactly the thought here. Obviously, Locomotive trying to make it work, and this is again the end of a 3-in-3 or 3 matches in a week span for Locomotive, and obviously Lucho has done his running tonight. And our understanding is that the technical staff did want to try and use every substitution. Out of the back, that's flash forward, off the side netting. Great run by Navarro, who is suddenly finding himself the target man. And what a ball by Pavkovic. Right into the path of the Spaniard, who just couldn't keep it down and on frame. A touch wide. Mark Navarro, the former Watford Espanyol man as well. Spent quite a great deal of time nursing an injury, leg injury, that kept him out for more than a season, and of course in the middle of COVID as well. But happy to have this opportunity. Admits that he did not know where El Paso was when he first heard from his agent about Locomotive FC. And Ricardo Zacarias issued the yellow card here. Here's Bence Pavkovic to Navarro. First time. Looks like he caught it off the top of his foot and it just sliced wide. And they will whistle the training staff to come onto the pitch. Athletic trainer Kimberly McCartney. Zacarias up top on Coronado. Doesn't look like a whole lot, but it earns Ricardo Zacarias a yellow card. Certainly Coronado will take his time. Wow, okay. We don't get the benefit, or we have the benefit, I should say, of slow motion replay. That is not something that our referee Abdou Njai gets to see, but in the end, looks to be a bit harsh on the Las Cruces native. We'll get another look here. Wow, okay. It's not getting any better the more replays we see. That took a couple of minutes. We'll see what Mr. Njai says. It's going to be stoppage time. Frank Lopez runs out for that, but offside flag is up. Well, Lucho Solignac's races run tonight. Locomotive will look to answer. So far, it's been Mark Navarro with the most positive final touches for Locomotive, but still really nothing in the danger spots. That pass from McHugh, a little off target. Easily gathered. That would have been offside, but it's going to be a handball. And a yellow card to Liam Rose. We're in the 80th minute. So the Australian goes into the book. Locomotive desperately searching for answers, but finding none. Kind of leans in with that chicken wing. That's enough. The body motion more than the touch of the arm, which was pressed against the body. That's going to stay onside. Lopez back into the middle. Nobody in a bright orange jersey to pick it up. Morelli. Aron Gomez knocked down by Davila. Locomotive trying to get a result, if not a win, against this team to keep them relevant in the Copa Tejas standings. But so far, it's RGV handling its business. Good job by Rose. Takes it away from Pinzon. Runs into some trouble. On the way up the right side is Dennis Kostashin. Upended there. Kostashin making his way onto the pitch. midst of our interview, Cabrera does pretty well. Bobkovic being behind the back for Chris Garcia. Locomotive just trying to clear some space. The Hungarian. Eder Borelli, pointed out, former team captain for FC Juarez Bravos back in the day. Tigres, William Rose, Do-si-do. And that will earn a stern lecture for Robert Coronado. And Abdou Njai, our referee. Long ball out of the back. Last-ditch defending, keeps it off of the head of Zacarias. Garcia there for the shot from Eric Calvillo. Turning aside is Tyler Derrick. Calvillo forces the save, which earns Locomotive the corner kick, and as bright maybe as we've seen in the second half for El Paso. That was headed for the back of the net. The El Salvador International. Back up and in. Settled down. Touch. Derrick is right there on the byline. Navarro. Eric McHugh as well. Tyler Derrick controls, and great work by the RGV keeper. Got to say, Locomotive looked pretty solid on that set piece. Tyler Derrick, though, knows his business. Third consecutive season with RGV, all-time leader in the regular season minutes. Coming into this one, 5,600. 15 clean sheets. And would like to keep his 16th, or earn his 16th. We're in the 84th minute, Locomotive. Desperate measures here for El Paso. McHugh, nice run. McHugh all the way up. Marked well, stride for stride by Davila. Gives off to Bobkovic. Garcia, darting run. Locomotive trying to weave their way through that RGV defense to Kostashin. Leaves off for Garcia, can't get back, and knocked out. Fourth row. Kostashin trying to turn. No foul. Wahab Akwe, that is well marked. '85th minute. Time is running short for this Locomotive team. Garcia tried to keep it on. It'll be an RGV throw. Well done, Zacarias. Just takes it right off of the foot of Coronado. Zacarias. Knocked, but it'll get to Kostashin. Played nicely for Navarro. Forces the save from Derrick, and again, Navarro from a hard angle forces Derrick off his line to pick that up, but pick it up he does. And the Spaniard has been the most dangerous man on the pitch, save for Calvillo's big effort a few minutes ago. Locomotive finding what they want from Mark Navarro in relief. But it is desperate times for the homestanding Locomotive FC team. That's played forward and in. Lopez carried off by Bobkovic, but it will be a corner for RGV, and that will take yet more time off the clock. A slow stroll by Cabrera, the goal scorer tonight. It's been his one shining moment that has made all the difference, and it was shining. Didn't look like a whole lot, but you see this in replay over and over again. That was a heck of a goal. Cabrera to deliver the corner, in-swinging ball to the far post, and nobody set up for that there. Navarro will let that run out for a Locomotive throw. Locomotive 4 cautions tonight to RGV's 2. We're hearing Cabrera's night is just about done. Juan Galindres ready to take his place. Still no word from the official as to where this ball is going. Throw in for Locomotive. Took a while. Rose, Kostashin. Kostashin fouled from behind by Lopez. And here's your sub. So the goal scorer, Wilmer Cabrera, off in the 88th minute to be replaced by Juan Galindres. Who also hails from Colombia. Of course, Wilmer Cabrera, born in Bogota. Juan Galindres coming from Huacari, Colombia. It's the handshakes from his teammates. Job done, 88th minute for his efforts so far. But here is Locomotive. Calvillo will knock it wide to Navarro. Service in, the diving header into the back of the net. Miles Lyons evens it in the 89th minute. Glancing header beats Derek, and we're tied at 1. Navarro's service into Miles Lyons, and the 20-year-old signed up for his second season in a Locomotive uniform, glances it inside the far post. Garcia to pick this up, spilled away. Calvillo spreads it wide. Borelli knocks it back, but it's off of Acque and dealt with. Not out of trouble yet. Aaron Gomez. As we hit the 90th minute in El Paso, Texas. Locomotive with a sudden burst of momentum. Navarro wins that back. Kostashin. Navarro. Spaniard, second effort into the middle and knocked out for a Locomotive corner by Ricketts. And RGV backs against the wall. Kostashin, far post delivery over the head of Pavkovic, and an RGV throw coming. Miles Lyons, glancing header on some beautiful service by Mark Navarro. And you had to figure, with as bright and as positive as the Spaniard has been, whatever was going to happen positively for Locomotive was going to come off of his foot. That is indeed the case. Good step in here by McHugh, knocking that forward. Calvillo trying to find Garcia, doesn't come off his head the way he wants. 6 minutes of stoppage time. Right up Locomotive's alley with all the momentum in this one right now. Tyler Derrick will spray this wide and out of play. That doesn't make it to the halfway line. Calvillo. Give off to Borelli. Played into Garcia, nice touch, but Acque able to grab her. Nope, Garcia's going to get it back, but he pulled Acque down. played forward Gomez. Here is Garcia. Pavkovic. Kostishin. About 4 minutes of stoppage time remaining. Here is Gomez. Borelli calls the handball, but no dice. We take a look at Locomotive's goal. Nope. And it's Aron Gomez who puts that one in. The glancing header, Aron Gomez scores the goal. His second of the season in an absolutely clutch moment. Again, Navarro with the assist. But it is Locomotive's number 7 who gets Locomotive on the board. That's played forward for Gomez. Walkway with it. Back to Derek. Locomotive keeping RGV pinned. About 3 minutes of stoppage time remaining for the home side. They've got the result. Still trying to push for the winner tonight. RGV though, not done yet. Here's Pinzon to Lopez. Frank Lopez tries to split the defense, but Navarro. Back to Pavkovic and Kostishin. Calvillo wide to the left and Borelli. Borelli to Garcia. The back heel. Garcia from Aron Gomez plays it right back into the feet of Akwe. Davila. Still 2 minutes left, but the foul here by Pavkovic. And Pinzon will throw the elbow to get loose. Earning the foul is Nodarse. So into the final 90 seconds of stoppage time. Intercepted on that pass. And the foul as Ricketts knocks over Gomez. Borelli, the quick restart to Rose. Back to Eder Borelli. Rose will switch it to McHugh. McHugh, Swedish international, Swedish American, not international, with dual citizenship. Oh my, Benny Diaz gives that up. Navarro, they're going to call a free kick. Diaz gives that up, but trying to come around to square that one and push it. It's going to be a yellow card for Navarro, but did what he could because Ricky Ruiz was about to chip Benny Diaz. And that might take care of the last few seconds we have of this match. Zone knocked forward. Navarro the last to touch it. Lopez will go run this down and let it travel out for a corner kick. Seconds remaining. Sent in. Bounced out. It'll be an RGV throw. We are past the 6. The question is how many more seconds will we have? It's the first time I've ever seen a referee tell a player to move forward for a throw. You're in the wrong spot, move up. A long throw, knocked forward, Ricketts, and it's just wide. Straight to Benitez in the top of the 6, and Benitez knocks it wide, the long ball out of the back. Diaz and Gomez trying to get there. No Locomotive player is able to touch that ball. And that is going to do it. Locomotive will earn a point. First goal in the run of play in a long, long while for Locomotive FC, and it earns them the draw this evening, 1-1. Wilmer Cabrera, Brian Clairhout talking things over at midfield, but a good point earned by El Paso, and the players are certainly gassed after this one. Both RGV and Locomotive players on the turf here at Southwest University Park. The discussion between the coaches continues, but El Paso earning a draw, points from losing position, second in the league. And Locomotive, a well-earned 1 point this evening in a 1-1 draw. Back to wrap it up after this.
Fighting Alliance brings the first ever MMA event to Southwest University Park on Friday, August 4th. Sabina Mazo headlines the night. Don't miss out on any of the thrilling action. Tickets are on sale now at southwestuniversitypark.com and the Durango Street box office. Doors open at 6 p.m. on fight night with the first bout at 7 p.m. and the main card at 9 p.m. Special thanks to our sponsors Speaking Rock, Bud Light, Cesar Ornelas, Subaru El Paso, and Barrio Eats and Drinks. We'll see you at Southwest University Park on August 4th.
Locomotive FC 1, RGV FC 1. Locomotive getting a late goal from Aaron Gomez as we take a look at beautiful downtown El Paso. Locomotive cheering on their fans who stuck tough with Locomotive FC tonight when it didn't look like a whole lot positive was going to happen. The first half goal by Wilmer Cabrera in the 38th minute as we take a look. Beautiful pass by Ritandoli, but really hopeful up against the wind just to knock a scuff of the ball by Cabrera back against the grain and against Benny Diaz, who could do nothing but watch it roll into the far post. Honestly, it's more impressive the more you watch it. Cabrera with his 6th of the season for RGV to give Locomotive, well, to give RGV that 1-0 lead. They would carry that until the 88th minute. Aaron Gomez, who'd come in 30 minutes prior to that. The redirected header, and it's pretty much in the same spot as where Cabrera put his goal. Beautiful service from the Spaniard Mark Navarro, who was really a bright spot for Locomotive FC. And an excellent piece of work by Aaron Gomez, who is our estrella of the match.
Locos, let's give it up for tonight's estrella of the match, Aaron Gomez. Aaron, the team continues to fight. That goal that tied the game, what does it mean to you and your teammates? Aaron, este gol, que fue el empate del partido, ¿qué significa para ti y para tus compañeros?
No, pues muy contento de poder ayudar al equipo, de hacer un gol. Y pues qué mejor que pudimos empatarlo, ¿no? El partido.
Okay, he's saying that it's, he's really happy that we were able to tie the game right there at the last minute. Okay, what is the mentality that the team has that you guys never get up, you fight, you fought into the very end? ¿Cuál es la mentalidad que tienes tú y tus compañeros para nunca darte por vencido y poder llegar a ese gol del empate?
No, pues creo que en los entrenamientos se trabaja todos los días para poder siempre estar luchando en cada minuto, cada pelota, y qué mejor hoy que se dio el esfuerzo de todos nuestros compañeros al final de poder, aunque sea, sacar un punto.
He's saying that they work really hard during training to make sure that during the game, they fight minute after minute to make sure they give their all during the game. Lastly, do you have any message to the fans here tonight? ¿Tienes algún mensaje para la afición?
Sí, muchas gracias por su apoyo, gracias por estar aquí, alentándonos en cada partido. Gracias.
He's saying thank you guys for being here tonight, for all the support. Thank you, Aaron. Now we're going to give you the trophy. We're going to give you this ball that you're going to sign, that you're going to kick out to the crowd.
Great work by Aaron Gomez, picking up his second goal of the season when it was absolutely needed. 30 minutes on the pitch and the goal in the 88th. He came on to the 58th, and Locomotive able to convert on a beautiful assist by his fellow 58th minute sub, Mark Navarro. Outstanding work as we see the West Star Tower in Hunt Plaza. Looking over downtown El Paso, full match stats, 12 shots for RGV to 8 for Locomotive. Locomotive with more on target than RGV, surprisingly. Shots in the box, everything pretty even, including the passing accuracy. Locomotive did get a little better. Of course, RGV did not have to have the ball so much in the second half, and it drops off a bit, as does the possession stat. But the one that counts the most is the one at the top, and Locomotive fights back to earn the draw tonight versus the always troublesome RGV. These two will tangle in the Valley here in a couple of weekends. And we heard from our friends Steve and Danielle from Copa Tejas that they might be there for that one. It stays relevant. Locomotive staying relevant in the Copa Tejas standings. And we will look forward as we do the Brian Birds rolling into the next match. A week between matches for Locomotive as finally they get a break as Locomotive FC, 3 in a week. Moving into the next match presented by the Brian Birds home selling team. That's going to be Oakland Roots coming to town a week from tonight. Very different team than what we saw in 2021 with new coach Noah Delgado. It's a team that's just below the playoff line, but much like RGV, it's a team that gives Locomotive lots and lots of troubles. And El Paso, lots of problems then. For all of us here in El Paso, I'm Duke Keith. So long, everybody.
The United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.